Hi, my name's Chris. I'm the Rustic Caveman. It's been a minute since we've spoken. Um, I'll get to the reason for that in a little bit. Anyway, nothing health-wise, nothing like that. It's equipment failure and the fact that it's been hotter than hell here and very dry. Anyway, so what I have is a whole lot of parts and pieces of videos. Little chunks here and there of a lot of different things we've done this summer. The primary equipment failure I've had has been the camera. It's a little GoPro Hero 7 Black. It has been heavily abused, and it's about, I think it's about 5, almost probably close to 6 years old. So, does great for short videos. The longer it goes, the more likely it is to cause a problem. So, bottom line is, I need to buy a new camera. Along with the process of buying a new camera, I've kind of got a milestone goal where I need to hit that goal before I can really talk myself into putting much more money into equipment. And that goal is 500 subscribers. So I'm going to ask you just to subscribe. Most of the people that watch my channel are not subscribers. Now, according to YouTube, they're repeat watchers. But for the most part, they're not subscribers. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you totally hate the video, go ahead and unsubscribe. But go ahead and hit that subscribe button and take a look at things. If you've been here before, you already got an idea what's going on. Anyway, so if you've been here before, welcome. If you haven't been here before, welcome. That's a DOS Farms reference if you haven't watched him before. Anyway, welcome and how it is. It's the way he goes. But this video is basically going to be chickens. I'm going to talk about the chickens. I'm going to talk about when we first got them, all the way up into, well, we've harvested a few of them a couple weekends ago, and I'll tell you the results of that. So in the process of doing this video, I'm going to do little clips all over the place because the camera seems to love the little clips as I like the long ones. So let's start from the beginning. Around June, I get the sun in my eyes here. Around June, beginning of I think the 6th, we picked up, or Sherry picked up from the post office, 42 little chicks, and it was a mixed bag. I got a 12-pack of what they call fryers. It's from Meyer Hatchery, which is in northern Ohio. A pack called fryers. Those are all just random chickens or roosters. I picked up a dozen mixed run barred rocks, a dozen, I think orange Buffingtons, and then a handful of other chickens. I mean, it's just kind of a mixed bag. And so at the end of it, we ended up with 42 chicks. Now you'll see video clips as I talk here. Anyway, she brought them home. We put them on the brooder on top of the freezer, which, by the way, you're actually sitting on top of right now. That freezer failed this summer. Anyway, we had them in a brooder bin on top of that. And we had them there for several weeks. They were starting to fill it out pretty good. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a doe across the pond. I'll try to expand the video when the time gets there. And she just popped out of the brush when I started talking. Well, she's kind of at the edge of the brush line there. Oh, wait a minute. I don't have my glasses on, but I believe that's a buck. Yeah, I'm going to take a little walk back up into the woods there. Oh, I've got my screen way up there. Anyway, when they outgrew that, we decided to, or at the end of them outgrowing that, we decided to kind of revamp our brooder trailer. It used to have wheels under it. We took the wheels off, we put on a skid rail, reinforced everything a little bit. You can hear the chickens messing around inside the coop right now, which is behind you. You're currently sitting on top of my tractor. Anyway, we reinforced the coop, brought it over here, put the chickens in there. And they were in there for several weeks. I then took just one of those rabbit cages you can pick up at like Tractor Supply or Rural King or something. Put that together, mounted it on the front where they would normally be able to exit, come and go, and put them there. Put that there, open the door so that they can come in and out as they chose. Give them a little sunlight. They quickly outgrew that as well. Trying to think about, well, anyway, we didn't want them to free range. The chickens that we had were slowly pretty well taken out by predator. We seem to have a pretty heavy predator load here recently, primarily raccoons, and I'm going to guess possibly a fox, and there's a good chance there's a coyote come through here in the middle of the day. Took one. Anyway, so we lost basically the last of our adult chickens. Now they were 3 years old, so they were coming up on the end of their run anyway. But we after they all perished, we let the coop set for a while. The real coop, the real run was set for a while, and then when the time came, we moved the coop. Anyway, we moved the coop. We brought it from down there where it was, reinforced it. We had to separate the run from the coop in order to move it. And I basically took the tractor and shoved it from down there all the way up to a little past where it is now. Then I went down there and wrapped a couple of big towing straps around the bottom of the run and drug it up as well. And then used the tractor to kind of marry the two together, and what you see is what you get. Now in the process of making that move, that run, or they're pulling it up here, the tarp that was on top of it, which is the roof, the tarp of it just kind of, it was old. Like I said, it was probably close to 3 years old. Sitting in the sun, the fabric became brittle and started to fray a little bit. The chickens, after we got it up here, took advantage of that and made their own skylight. I was much appreciative of that. Anyway, since it was hot, we weren't getting any rain, I left the skylight there for a while, give them a little more airflow to kind of deal with the heat and things like that. And the chickens grew, and they grew, and they grew. Well, we had an old pool right over there. It was a 24-foot pool. We drained the liner to clean it, and we didn't get the liner, we didn't get it filled up quick enough. The liner shrunk, and then when we tried to fill the pool with water, the liner pulled the walls over a little bit, and basically made it such that we would have to replace the pool because the metal, which is laid over there, couldn't be straightened with the same structural integrity as it had before. So we took the pool apart. I took the metal that came off of it, which I guess is right over there, stretched out two 17-foot lengths of it, and put it on top of the coop. Now when I put it on top of the coop, I left a little gap in between, which is what I expected. So we covered that with a new tarp. So inside the coop, you can see the metal. And it's kind of sandwiched like this. On the outside, you've got the tarp, and then there's the metal. Underneath that is chicken wire. Underneath that is cattle panels. And that is the structure of the roof of the coop. Now, say about a month ago, I decided to go ahead and move the coop, bring it down here a little bit closer so that Sherry could plug it into the house. Because, you know, chickens that are just fine in 20 degree below zero weather need to have a heat lamp when it's 60. Anyway, that little rooster right there is one that I want to keep. I like him. These two, well, one's a hen, the other one's a rooster. The rooster's probably going to get eaten in the next few days. So anyway, we drug the coop that way. I just wrapped a strap around the whole thing and just pulled it 25 feet that way with the tractor, and everything was all in good. Cleaned out the chips that are inside of it, replaced all the new chips and everything like that. And that brings us up to the most recent change. 2 weeks ago, we were going through three 50-pound bags of feed in 2 weeks. It was getting expensive. So the heavy eaters, it was time. So we harvested 10 roosters, and we made the mistake of, I made the mistake of skinning them instead of, you know, boiling, dunking, and plucking, which would have taken a lot less time and probably would have come out a lot cleaner. Anyway, we skinned them. We took all the meat off the bones and we canned it. And what we came out with was 7 quarts of canned chicken. There's also 2.5 quarts that we put in the freezer because the canner only takes 7 quarts. When I do the next 5, we'll take that out of the freezer, mix it in with everything else, and can that too, and that should give us our 7 quarts for a new canner full. We took the carcasses and we boiled them. I put them in 2 20-quart stock pots and threw in carrots, celery sticks, some spices, and some onions, and we basically cooked them to death. We cooked it for 2.5 days, adding water to it, constantly adding water to it, so it was always filling up the 20-quart stock pots. And anyway, when we were done and we drained off the liquid, we ended up with 21 quarts of broth. Now this is bone broth. This is, you know, leftover parts of meat that were on there, all the spices. It was very dark, beautiful, tasted fantastic. Anyway, 7 quarts of that, or 21 quarts of that, and 7 pints. So that haul from those 10 birds, again, was 9.5 quarts of meat, 2.5 of which were in the freezer and will be canned next round, and 21 quarts of broth, stock, whatever you want to call it, and 7 pints of stock. There was actually half a pint left. I drank it. It was, like I said, it was fantastic. The bones were so brittle that you could just take them and go like that and it just fell apart in your hands. That's the way it's supposed to be done. So anyway, that's where we are today. Another update with the chickens is within the last couple of weeks, we've started to get little baby teeny eggs. I'll go get a couple and bring them back. Anyway, so the chickens have started laying eggs. If you're unfamiliar with how this starts out, they start out with making eggs this size. And they'll make eggs this big for a week, maybe 2 weeks, and then they'll slowly grow up to be a normal size egg. As of right now, this is what we have. Like I said, it's only been about 2.5 weeks actually. Yeah, they started laying about the same time we harvested the roosters. Part of the problem we ran into was the fact that apparently our layer feed that we have doesn't have enough calcium in it, so they were starting to eat them. Now we've since added the crushed oyster shell, which they are devouring, and we believe that issue has been resolved, but we're still only getting about 4, maybe 5 eggs a day. So that's where we're at. So that is the current status of the chickens. We lost 2 babies when they were still yay big, which is absolutely fantastic, because typically from Rural King or Tractor Supply or something like that, because they've been handled so much, you lose more than that. So 2 chickens out of 40, fantastic. Or out of 42 is fine. So with the 10, we're down to 30 chickens. I think I've got about 5 more roosters that I'm going to harvest. I'm going to leave a couple roosters behind, and the rest will be hens, and they will be our hens for the next many years. An upcoming project with the chicken coop is we're going to put in a 30 by 50 chicken run right over there. I don't know if you can see the scrap wagon, but it'll be basically behind that. And that chicken run will have the main coop in it, and we'll have the brooder coop in the back section, beside each other, so that we can keep everything contained. And then there'll be a 30 by 50 foot run. I'll have 2-foot feeding boxes down each side. It'll have harbor mesh over top of it, so on 2x6s, so that they can grow herbs and stuff and things like that in there, and they can only eat the tops of it. That's coming up next year. But for right now, through winter, that's what we got going. So anyway, my name's Chris. I'm the Rusty Caveman. Please subscribe. I really want to buy a new camera. I'm getting close to that 500. So help me out here. I've been doing this for, I guess, almost 6 years. I really haven't worried about subscribers. But the goal, that when I agreed to do this, when I started talking about doing this with the wife, it's like I only buy equipment if the subscribers warrant it. In other words, if I get more subscribers, I'll buy more equipment. Well, the next milestone is 500, and I kind of need to hit that before I can drop the $400 on a new camera. Whether it's going to be a GoPro again or one of them DJIs, I'm not sure yet. I'm kind of leaning toward the DJI because they don't seem to have as many problems. But anyway, future goals. My name is Chris. I'm the Rusty Caveman. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something out of it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.